Yes, you are live, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Good evening. Warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for taking time to join our Gita-Amrutam Rasamalayam systematic study of Gita, session 28. We are on chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, Jnana-Karma-Sanyasa Yoga. What are we going to cover today? Verses 24 to verses 30. We'll have a quiz, then audience reflections. Feel free as to what is your takeaway from the session, followed by Q&A. I start by offering my humble obeisances, my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and my Shiksha Guru, Gaur Vilas Prabhuji. We'll chant the Shri Guru Pranam mantra, Om Ajnana Timirandasya, Nananjana Shalakaya, Chakshurunmilitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. With their blessings, let us kick off the session today. Goloka Express is chugging along smoothly, doing fine. We are on chapter 4. What are we going to learn today? Very interesting session. It was meant for us, we in this material world. Krishna is telling us, transform every action into divine yagna. You don't have to go to the forest and perform any yagna. He says, within yourself, where you live, what we do day to day, we can perform yagna. We can sacrifice our senses. We have 5 senses. We can sacrifice our breath and ego, merge with eternal Brahman. That is, realize Supreme Lord. All this is possible. And how is it possible? Krishna is going to tell us in these verses. We have seen the synonym of this chapter is years, because transcendental knowledge can be gained more by listening carefully. It's not about trying to read, understand, memorize. Yes, that is one way of learning. But the essence of scriptural studies is listening to this very carefully and trying to understand what is that essence that this verse is trying to convey. We will try to deep dive today in these 7 verses and understand that. Years, E stands for eternal education. We have gone through this section. A stands for accurate understanding. We have completed this section. R stands for remove reactions. We have gone through almost from 16 to 23 verse, and only 1 verse is remaining. We'll cover that today. We'll have a brief refresh of what we studied in the last class, which was hosted by His Grace Mukundat Prabhu. And yes stands for sacrifice. Sacrifice looks a word which is slightly esoteric, but actually, if we offer what we are doing to the Lord, that becomes sacrifice. And Krishna is telling us so many different types of sacrifice. And this is transcendental knowledge. Our own action, day-to-day action, can lead us to Jnana, can lead us to the Lord. That is what we're going to study today. As I mentioned, this is the last verse of this section, removing reactions. We have gone through how to avoid karmic reactions through knowledge, detached knowledge-based offering as sacrifice. We have understood what is karma, akarma, vikarma. We have understood karma on the platform of jnana. And the last verse that we covered in the last class was sacrifice is not an activity, but a mood that pervades all activity. There is nothing like, oh, this act is a sacrifice. It doesn't work that way. What you do, the moment you offer it to the Lord, becomes a sacrifice. We'll refresh this quickly going forward. And the last verse, which is the first verse of this class, will be 4.24, where perfect cure for materially entangled soul. Let's see how these verses are. So I thought I must summarize what are we going to learn today. We all in this material world, as sadhakas, as devotees, we have this doer. I am the doer. I want to do this. I want this result. So this is the chain. Unless and until we break this, neither we are the doer, as Krishna has told us and will tell us going forward. We are only one part of the doer. Whatever action is happening is not happening only because of us. It's happening because of so many other factors. We will study that. We have studied that. And the result, we have only right to work and not for results. We have already seen this the last chapter. So this is continued. And Krishna is now giving us a solution. He says, convert every act of yours, your breath, your five senses. Let's say we have a lot of resources. He says, be open minded, engage in charity. And when you do that, think of me, offer it to me. He says, if you do this, that will incinerate, burn, destroy, completely cleanse your karmic reactions. That is the simple mantra for success. You will be able to come out of the ego trip. I will no longer exist, or at least will not be predominant. The knower will taste immortality. That is transcendental knowledge. We merge effortlessly into this eternal supreme. We surrender it to the Lord. That is what we're going to study and how easy it is. It is the mood sacrifice. There is no special act called this is a sacrifice and this is not a sacrifice. Every act can be a sacrifice. Every breath can be a sacrifice. That is what we are going to learn today. A quick recap of last verse 4.23. गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य ज्ञानावस्थिता चेतसः यज्ञया च आचरत कर्म समग्र प्रविलीयते. So sacrifice is not an activity. There is nothing like today I will do this because this is a sacrifice. He says it's not an activity. Every activity can be a surprise, sacrifice, provided the mood is of sacrifice. The work of a man, this is a translation, who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. That is what is required. Give up your ego. Do not be attached to the result. Do not say, I am the doer. Since I am doing it with so much effort, I need this result. That is a fallacy. That is not spiritual knowledge. That is material thinking. So let's go through the verse quickly. Tatasangasya muktasya. This is all about inner consciousness. What has to change is not the activity, the consciousness. That is what Krishna is saying. Tatasangasya muktasya. If you are able to do this with a consciousness that I am not the doer, this activity is not because of me. I am doing this because of the Lord. That is Gata Sangasya Muktasya. That will free us from bondage. That will make us detached. We should not be attached. We should be detached. Jnana-Avastita Chetasa. How is this possible? That is possible by learning. That is possible by listening. What we are doing today. Going through the verses of Gita tells us what is the knowledge. Krishna is telling us how to make our activity into a sacrifice. You are acting, but you are attached. That is possible only by knowledge. Work in the mood of sacrifice. Yagna achara karma. Whatever action we do, that can become a sacrifice because it is the consciousness that matters and not your activity. Excuse me. Samagra praviliyate. If you are able to perform your action as a sacrifice with the mood of surrender, yagna acharata karma, what is the reward? What is the result? Samagra praviliyate. We will be offering our work, our activity to the Lord. That is transcendental knowledge. That's it. That's what it takes. It's very easy if you don't have the knowledge because you don't know what you should do. But with this knowledge, you exactly know what is that we have to do to convert our everyday activity into sacrifice. That is the essence of this verse. Work as sacrifice. It's the mood that matters. That will lead us to transcendence. With this, sacrifice is not an activity, but a mood that pervades all activity. The consciousness is what matters. The essence, the day-to-day learnings, make your work as a sacrifice. That's the path to transcendence. That is the path to loving Krishna. That is what is the essence of this verse. And going forward, we will see different types of sacrifice, how whatever we have to do, whatever we wish to do, whatever we want to do, whatever we are doing, everything can become an act of sacrifice just by converting our mood from I am the doer to saying that I am the server. I am serving Lord Krishna. As we come into the first verse of the day, that is 4.24, let's look at what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes about this Kurukshetra war. We are all aware, they are in the battlefield. Krishna and Arjuna are engaged in a conversation. Arjuna has a lot of doubts. Krishna is clarifying them. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, this battlefield itself is a yagya. And whom it is? An yagya for Arjuna and an yagya for all the Pandavas and Kauravas because they are engaged in the act of war. The battlefield is Yajnikunda. The Gandiva bow of Arjuna is the offering spoon, a Marpunam. This is a wonderful verse which, if you go through, you will have your hair standing on end. It's so rhythmic. Who are the oblations? Like we offer ghee into the sacrifice. The Kauravas are the oblations because this sacrifice is being managed, is being conducted, and none other than the Supreme Lord Krishna. He is the Virata Rupa form of fire. He is Brahmagna. He is going to take all these people who are not supporting Dharma, who are trying to support Adharma, into this fire and destroy Adharma and establish Dharma. This is the context that Acharyas described before we go through the verse. Now, let's come to the verse. I enjoy quoting this verse. It is so very, it really appeals to you. It takes you in. It says, Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihir, Brahmagnau Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, Dhamma Karma Samadhina. This is the verse where Krishna is using Brahma 6 times. And what is Krishna referring to as Brahma is this supreme spirit. Going forward, we'll understand what is the context of Brahma. So, what Krishna is saying, when our vision becomes spiritual, when we want to do service to the Lord, our action and destination also becomes spiritual. There's a big message for us through Arjuna here. What is Krishna telling Arjuna? You are in the battlefield, but even this act of war is an act of sacrifice, provided you are in the mood of sacrifice. Translation: person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom. Why? Because of his full contribution to spiritual activities. There is no I there, in which the consummation is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, let's go to this thing. Oh Arjuna, please understand, this war is not a mundane activity. This war is being fought because I want you to establish dharma. Now you decide whether you want to participate or you don't want to participate. How does he tell this? He tells this by describing Brahma, that is the absolute truth, that is the supreme spirit, 6 times in this verse to make that message very clear. Everything that you're doing, Arjuna, the act of putting an arrow into your Gandiva bow and firing, that is also an act of sacrifice. That is what Krishna is trying to tell us through Arjuna. This is the starting where Krishna is referring to the importance of Brahma, the importance of Supreme Spirit. Going forward in the 9th chapter, he mentions to himself as Ma. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yukta vaivam atmana mat parayana. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. And he repeats this verse again in the 18th chapter. That is reinforcement. That is refreshment. He says, don't forget this fact. Whenever you see a word being repeated 5 times, 6 times, even 7 times, there are verses in Gita where that word is repeated. That shows the importance that Krishna wants Arjuna to attach to that word. In this it is Brahma, in this it is Ma. In 18.65, the first two lines remain the same, but he says, Ma me vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. My devotees will not fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. This is the assurance that Krishna is giving us through Arjuna. So the connection here is Brahma is repeated 6 times here. Mam is repeated. Mam refers to Krishna. He himself says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto, surrender unto me. In 9.16, again he says, he uses the word aham 7 times. He says, aham kratur, aham yagya, swadham, aham aushadam, mantro aham, aham evagyam, aham agnir, aham hutam. It says, but it is I who am the ritual, I am the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering. You can't have more clarity that once you decide that I want to offer my work, my breath to the Lord, that is an act of sacrifice. Dhamma is referring to Supreme Spirit. Mam and Aham are referring to Krishna as the personal form of the Lord. What do we say going forward? Let us understand line by line. Brahmarpanam, Brahma Haver. Brahma plus Arpanam. This is how the word is Brahma Arpanam. The offering is Brahma, the oblation is Brahma. Arpanam means the instruments such as the wooden spoon which we use pour ghee into the sacrificial fires. That is also Brahman. You are also Brahman because you are performing the Yakya. Brahmagnav Brahmana Hukam. What is Brahmagnav? Brahma plus now. Fire, which is there in the Yajna Kunda, is also Brahman. Performer of the Yajna is also Brahman. Act, I am the actor and I am conducting an activity. Krishna is saying the actor and the activity both are being offered to Brahman in the fire of Brahman. That is the understanding. That is the mood that Krishna wants Arjuna to have when he is on the battlefield. He is not killing his enemies. He is not trying to. The doubt of Arjuna was, oh, I'm going to kill my grandfather. I'm going to kill my teacher. He says, no, Arjuna, you are not killing. This is not killing. This is cleansing. If you do this, dharma will be established and adharma will be demolished. And how you can do it? By being offering yourself into this yajna. This war is not just about killing people, it is killing adharma. Brahma karma samadhina. Now, what is the destination if you do this? That is what is important. He says, Brahmaiva tena gantavya. Dhamma karma samadhina. By our activity, we have achieved the Lord's blessings, the Lord's mercy. That is the essence. Convert your breath, convert your activity as an offering to the Lord. That is the essence of this verse. Brahma is attained by one who is absorbed in Brahma. The moment you say, I am doing this, I get up in the morning, I will have the following list of activities to do, but there's only one thing which I will do it differently than anyone else. And that is, I will always say, I'm doing it for Krishna. I'm doing it for Brahma. I'm doing it for Mam. I'm doing it for Aham. All mean the same. You are doing it for the Supreme Lord. Now, you may be wondering, how can a material activity become spiritual? I'm not able to understand this. I will give you two examples. When we make any dish at home, we offer it as bhoga to the Lord. What does it contain? It contains material ingredients. The same dal, chawal, sabji. No, nothing different. The moment it is offered to the Lord, that few minutes in front of the Lord, and you're offering it to Him lovingly, saying, Oh Lord, please accept it. That makes the material prasad, material ingredients into spiritual prasad. That is the essence of understanding. It is not that you're going to see some special spiritual material appearing in the prasad. No, it is the same material prasad, but it has spiritual blessings. You take our spiritual master. Spiritual master is eternal. We remember Adi Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Srila Prabhupada for years, for centuries, for millennia, because they are eternal. But their body is material. But what they do? They can use their body for spiritual pursuit, for spiritual pleasure, for this offering as an offering to the Lord. Their every breath was only meant to satisfy the Lord, please the Lord. So, this is the essence that we should take away after this class. I am not a special being. I don't have any two horns on my head. I'm not going to do some special activities because I have studied Gita 4 chapter. All I'm going to do is that I will offer my activity to the Lord, however mundane it would be. For example, Arjuna, even the battle is being offered to the Lord as sacrifice. So, if the heinous act of killing each other can become spiritual, you understand the mantra for success lies within us. It is within our thinking. What we wish to do, what we wish to achieve. Day to day self learning we can apply in our lives. Material is not spiritual. Please remember, prasad is not spiritual, but it is spiritualizable. And the spiritualizable quality comes from us, not from the material. We offer it to the Lord and make it spiritual. Ritual becomes spiritual. I don't know if I quoted this before, but my two famous sayings on this: ritual becomes spiritual. When I drive, I chant. So my driving is no longer tiring. Many people ask me, how do you drive from Bombay to Mathura? It is a breeze. I don't really sweat because I'm always thinking of the Lord. If I go for a walk and if I find a flower on the road, I will steal because I'm not allowed to take that flower, but I will perform the act of stealing because my consciousness is I want to offer that flower to the Lord, which I have plucked with my own hands. It is not enough that I have money in my pocket that I go and buy a flower garland and offer it to the Lord. That all of us do every day. But what matters is that one flower which you have plucked with love and you offer it to the Lord as an offering, that makes your walking, which is a ritual to maintain your body, spiritual. That is the essence of the mood sacrifice. Nothing special. With that, we have completed the session of removing reactions. We are now going to get into S, sacrifices, different types of sacrifices. And there is a big list of it. Let's not go through them. We are going to cover each. You're going to have demigod worship. You're going to have sacrifice into Brahman. What will a brahmachari do? What will a grihostha do? What is charity? What is austerity? What is tapomaya yagya? All that will be covered today. This is a slide which we'll skip. It is just that every activity, every yagya is nicely tiered, starting from if you offer food, we do nityahara, take less food, perform ekadashi. All that is an offering food. And up you then offer your mind, then you offer your breath, then you offer your intelligence, and you offer your bliss. All that these yagyas can be classified into a pyramid. Let's go to the first verse of this section. Daivam eva parayagyam yogina paryupasate brahmagnau apare yagnam yagne naivo pachuvati. What is the meaning? Here, Krishna is telling us karma yogis of worship demigods through sacrifices. We are all very familiar with this. All of us are born with Satyanarayana Puja at home, Saraswati Puja at home, Navagraha Homa at home, Ganesh Puja at home, and you name it, and we have it. This is our religious practice. This is runs in our family. That's our parampara. That's our culture. So we are all aware of this, and Krishna is giving us that same option. He says that yes, demigod worship is also a sacrifice. Gnana yogis offer sacrifice into the fire of Brahman. Let us see what does this mean. Yagne naivopachuvati. How they can do that? Some yogis, translation, perfectly worship the demigods. Demigods, we all know, are superior officers established by the Lord to look after this material universe. By offering different sacrifices to them, and some offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. So, this is something demigod worship we all understand, but how do we sacrifice into the fire of Brahman? We will see going forward. Now, sacrifice is yagna. So yajna is not something, a special word. Sacrifice is yajna. And we should all understand that we are doing the sacrifice for the Lord. In fact, the name of the Lord is Yajna. So one of his names is Yajna, sacrifice. So there are two types of sacrifice. One is we sacrifice our resources. You have money, you have gold, you have silver, you have land, you have grains, whatever you have, you can give that as an offering to the Lord. Another is when you say, I'm sacrificing in the fire of Supreme Brahman, you are following the path of transcendental knowledge. You are offering yourself. You will be wondering, how can I offer myself into Brahman? We will see this going forward. You can offer everything that you have to the Lord without actually having any external yajna process. But this is even more powerful than an external yajna. Let us see how it comes. Daivam evapare yagyam yogina pariyupasate. So we have the Bhogi who is performing demigod worship. We have a Gnani who offers himself into the Brahman. We are a Tapasvi who offers his tapas, his austerity as a sacrifice to the Lord. You can perform demigod worship. It's not ritual because Krishna is telling us that "Naivam eva prayagyam yogina paripasate." We can offer, we can worship all the demigods, but there is a big but. Is it the ideal way of doing? Now that is transcendental knowledge. Krishna is saying you can continue doing what you have been doing. I have no problem. The only caution I want to give is this yajna is sacred, but you are not connecting to me directly. Please understand. There is nothing wrong in worshipping the demigods. You can worship anyone you want to whatever extent you want to your heart's content because it is allowed. Krishna says, Daivam meva prayagyam yogina pariyupasate. We are all yogis. We can offer worship to the demigods. The understanding is I am connecting to Krishna, but through a long route, circuitous route. And demigod worship has one classification, and that is they will give you material benefits. If you are going to be pursuing material pleasures, which you are supposed to be not doing, then we can follow demigod worship. Choice is ours. Path of demigod worship will not take us towards transcendence. It will be a slow process. If you have an escalator, why take the stairs? That is the question. When you worship many demigods, Krishna, like as I said, Lord Satyanarayana, Ganesha, Durga Devi, name it, Ayyappa, Vaishnumata, all these worships, all these worshippers are called Bahu Ishwara Vadi. They are believers in many gods. What it shows is you are not really sure of getting what you want from the Lord Himself. That is the reason why for health you pray to someone, why for wealth you pray to someone else. That is your upbringing, that is your thought process. That is what has to be corrected after reading Gita. Brahmagnam apare yagyam. Now there are others who are intelligent, who perform yagnena aivopachuvati. They offer themselves to Brahman. There is a very nice Acharya commentary when a disciple goes to Ramanujacharya and says cryingly, "Oh Lord, I have nothing to offer. I am broke. I have no material resource that I can spare to the Lord." Then Ramanujacharya asks him, "What can you offer the Lord?" He says, "I can only offer myself, dear Acharya." Ramanujacharya says, "I salute you because that's the only thing that the Lord is looking forward to from you. He doesn't want gold, he doesn't want silver, he doesn't want anything. He just wants you to lovingly offer yourself to him." That is offering Brahmagnam apare yagyam yagnenaiva. This is Krishna consciousness. You are offering your, what does it mean? What is the meaning of I am offering myself? You are surrendering to the Lord. You are no longer saying, why is this happening this way? Because that I is gone. You are none other than servant of the Lord. The moment you become servant, the moment you say, I want to serve, you have offered yourself into the service of Lord. That is yagne naivo puchuvati. What is Krishna telling Arjuna? Why is he giving this example? He's saying, "Oh Arjuna, when you are fighting this battle, please do not bring all these things that he is my relation. How can I kill them? How will I enjoy them? Who is there to celebrate?" All these are material considerations. Even that you have to make up, Arjuna, is one thing. Do you want to offer yourself to me or not? How can you offer yourself to me? By fighting this battle with a simple, one minded focus that I am doing this for Krishna. Period. Leave the rest to me. That is the essence of this verse. Let's go now. Nani, I told you, how does this work? Now, external sacrifices, we all understand. How does it happen? You prepare offerings, you chant mantras, you offer ghee, grains, all these things into the fire, and then you say, "Oh Lord, please accept my offerings." The Lord says, the fire is burning lightly. And yes, the sage who's performing the yajna says, "I am blessing you, oh devotee, your devotion to this act of sacrifice is purifying you. You will get all the results of the sacrifice." This is Daivam Meva Prayakyam Yogina Paripasya. Now comes, what does it carry into? What is different from conducting an external sacrifice from offering oneself to the Lord? Listen to this carefully. What do you offer when you say, I want to offer myself to the Lord? There you are offering the concept of who is the doer. I is being offered as a sacrifice to the Lord. Who is offering? Again, you are not saying I am offering because you have offered yourself to the Lord. Who am I? I am servant of the Lord. That is what you are offering into the sacrifice. Slowly, you are actually offering your ego, your sense of doership. I no longer exist. Your false identity. Who are you? The first thing that should come to your mind is, I am the servant of Krishna. I may ask you in the middle of the night, who are you? I should not say, I am Sham Sundar. I am servant of Krishna. That is offering yourself, offering your false ego to the Lord. Says, as Ramanujacharya told his disciple, this is the best offering that fire of the sacrifice burns brighter than the physical sacrifice. This is knowledge. This is offering yourself to Brahman. Brahme yagnenaiva upajuvati. So Daiva Yagna purifies Chitta Shuddhi. Yagnenaiva upajuvati destroys ignorance. What is the learning? Shankaracharya asks the disciple who has conducted this yajna. Very successful. Then this disciple asks Acharya, please tell me, is this yagya performed well? Will I get my moksha? Shankaracharya does not answer the question directly. He says, can I tell you something? I have some doubt. What will happen to your yagya when the offering of ghee is over? Please stop. The disciple says, the fire will stop burning. Simple. Shankaracharya smiles and says, if the fire depends on the fuel of ghee, it must die. Please understand. Why is he telling this? Because it is material. But the fire of knowledge of I am the doer. If you offer that into this sacrifice, then you are sacrificing your ego. When you're sacrificing your ego, the very notion of I is destroyed. There is nothing left to offer because you have already offered yourself. There is only one thing that is left is you as a servant of the Lord. Only Brahman remains. So external yajna purifies the chitta, purifies the mind. The moment I offer myself to the Lord Brahman, it destroys ignorance itself because I have offered my ego to the Lord. That is the essence of offering yourself to Brahman. Adi Shankaracharya says, the fire of sacrifice, when you offer yourself to the Lord, burns your ignorance away. We are nothing but servant of the Lord. Atma is a part of Karma. Let's go to the next verse. Shrotra, Shrotradini Indriyani Anye Samyak Samyak Magnishu Juvati Sabdadin Visayan Anya Indriyagni Shujuvati. What is Krishna telling us? Now he's coming to the ashramas. See, we have Brahman, we will go through this. We have four ashramas. So in this verse, he's going to cover what brahmacharis can offer, their activity as sacrifice, and Gruhastha, for all of us who are married, what we can offer as sacrifice. So he says, I am giving you the roadmap. Whichever ashrama you are qualified to offer your activity as sacrifice to me. That is the essence of this verse. Let's go to the translation. Some, the unadulterated brahmacharis. So brahmacharis are pure. They keep themselves away from sense gratification, from the institution of marriage. They sacrifice. What do they offer as sacrifice? Their sacrifice is the hearing process and senses. They don't like to get married. They don't want to have family attachment. They don't want to have the whole life is spent as a struggle to have material security. My house, my car, my land, my bank balance. They offer all that in the fire of mental control. It is a great act of mental control to live completely dependent on the Lord. There are many brahmacharis who do not even have a bank account. They are dependent on the Lord. This is the ideal. So Krishna is saying how you can offer yourself to me by hearing process and offer all your senses or in the fire of mental control. Say, I don't want this. And others, the regulated householders, sacrifice the objects of the senses in the fire of the senses. The translation looks difficult, but the essence is very easy to understand because we can relate to it ourselves. So in this verse, we are referring to two ashramas. We have four ashramas totally: Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. So in this ashramas, there are only four ashramas. Krishna is referring to Brahmacharya and Grihastha. How we, being situated in this ashrama, can perform our activity as an act of sacrifice. That is what Krishna is going to explain to us. What is ashrama? Ashrama is derived from the word shrama. Shrama means effort. Ashrama means one's own effort. So you are a brahmacharya not by birth. You become a brahmacharya by your own effort, by your own control of your senses. Grihastha, I take a vow going round the fire with the wife saying that I will look after you, I will remain faithful to you. So this trauma of your your effort is what gives you the classification into either you're a brahmacharya if you decided to remain celibate, you don't want to marry, or you say I want to be in the family life, I want to marry, then you're into grihastha. Vanaprastha is, it applies to all of us that after the age of 50, 55 to 60, you have to move away from this family attachments and try and spend more and more time in the service of the Lord. And sannyasa is when you renounce the complete attachment to this world. You are on your own only for the Lord. That is the last stage that all of us can aspire to reach. Vanaprastha and sannyasa is open to all of us. The only difference is brahmacharya and grihastha. You either want to marry or you don't want to marry. That's the distinction. How does a brahmacharya offer himself, his activities as sacrifice to the Lord? Krishna is saying, Shrotra dini indriyani anye. O brahmacharya, samyam agnishu juvati. You will attain that level of equanimity by listening, by chanting the Lord's name. A brahmachari, let's say, does not have the burden of family. His entire 24 hours, he can utilize that time very, very uh, judiciously to offer himself as a servant to the Lord. Whatever he does, he offers it as service. And his entire sense control is I don't want anything. Whatever I have is all Krishna's, and I will always continue to listen to various scriptures which glorify the Lord. That is my sacrifice to the Lord. How can I control my senses? By being completely dedicated, devoted, surrendered to the Lord, by listening and incessant chanting, remember the Lord, so that he is not attracted by the material senses. So, the pure brahmachari is engaged in Hare Namanukirtanam. They are completely absorbed in the name, in chanting the name of the Holy Lord. This is how brahmacharyas do this. Sabdadin Visyananya, Indriyagni Shuchuvati. What is the difference of a grihastha? What does a grihastha do? How does he offer himself? How does he offer his activities as sacrifice to the Lord? Krishna says, as a grihastha, you can follow path of four regulative principles. Do not try to be greedy. Do not try to cheat. Do not try to speculate. Do not indulge in infidelity. You should remain faithful to your wife. Look after your family. So what is the essence? What is the difference is a brahmachari completely restrains himself from sense gratification, whereas a grihastha maintains sense gratification with regulation, with control within a framework. Why marriage is important? It is important in all religions because it ties him down to one person, remain faithful, follow the joy of sex life is controlled, and that sex life comes with the responsibility. You look after your other half and lead family life, which is devoted to service rather than enjoyment. So, control completely as a brahmacharya, regulate sense gratification needs, so, and dovetail that, serve the Lord as a grihastha. Both of us are able to perform our activities as an act of sacrifice to the Supreme Lord. That is the essential learning of this verse. Now, before we go into the next verse, let's absorb the story. Stories are a very nice way of trying to explain philosophy. So this story title is "A Lamp in the Windy House." So disciple lived in this house which had many windows and doors. For simplicity, I have shown you five windows here. And he had a problem because this was a house where wind blew constantly throughout the day. And the problem with this wind was that lamp which was there in the house always was flickering. And the disciple was very worried that, oh, well, what will happen if this lamp gets extinguished by this wind? So he goes to the Acharya and says, oh, Guru, can you please tell me what should I do to make my lamp burn steadily? So the Guru asked him, what have you done so far? Can you tell me? So the disciple says, I have tried to put more oil. And Acharya said, is that it? Did it work? No. Okay. What else you did? Says, I have tried to change the size of the wick. I've used a thicker wick. Is that working? No, that's not also working. The lamp continues to flicker, the wind continues to push. Then the Guru said, will you do what I will tell you now? Simple things. The Shishya said, yes, sir, I will do it. And he says, do one thing, close the windows one by one. That is sense restraint. Now you should try to understand the story, what the Guru is telling the disciple. Close the windows means sense restraint. We have five sense windows. Close them one by one. Then he says, watch your breath. The disciple is surprised. How can I watch my breath? I can feel my breath. The Guru says, watch your breath. There is a way of regulating your breath too. And if you do these two things, what will happen? Your mind will become still. And relate to the story. The moment he started closing the windows one by one, the wind stopped. The lamp burned steady and bright. So, what's the essence of learning? If you are able to control your senses, restrain your senses, watch your breath, you will be able to make the lamp burn brightly, steadily. This is called fire of discipline, inner yagna. Let us go to the verse now. Sarvanindriya karmani, prana karmani chapare, atma samyamya yogagnau, chuvati gnana dipite. What's the translation? Others, so we are in the verse where he's describing various sacrifices. He says, some others who are interested in achieving self-realization through control of mind and senses offer the functions of all the senses and of the life breath as oblations into the fire of the controlled mind. So Krishna is now telling us how to perform another sacrifice using our mind and senses. Offer that as an oblation into the fire of sacrifice. He now gives us an interesting, brief understanding about pranayama. What is this? He says, Sarva Indriya Karmani. Offer all the senses to me. Karma, what you want to see? See the Lord's photograph. You want to hear? Hear the Lord's story. You want to eat? Eat Lord's Prasad. This is how you can offer all your senses to the Lord. Then he says, Prana Karmani Chapre. How do you control your breath? That is, what is prana? Prana is referring to the life air here. That is how we are getting a glimpse into what is pranayama. Offer the prana, your life air, also towards me. Regulate your breath, turn the conscious mind inwards. That is pranayama. That is prana karmani chapye. Now, Srila Prabhupada very nicely explains to us in brief what is Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is a subject by itself, but we will only get the essence, the flavor of it today. In Ashtanga Yoga, there is a process called Pratyahara. That is the stage when you are at bliss. You are able to control all your senses and you are not really disturbed by the external sense bombardment. And he says there are two types of souls who are undergoing pranayama, Ashtanga Yoga. One is Paragatma. Rag means attached. And what is this Paragatma's features? Speciality? He is attracted to materialism. His soul is externally focused. He is getting distracted by the external senses. This is Paraga. Process of Ashtanga Yoga can take you from Parag to Pratyahara and you will become a Pratyagatma. And what is Pratyagatma? Atma is no longer interested in what is happening in the external world. It's only interested in what's happening within. The moment you're able to focus yourself internally, Paragatma becomes Tyagatma. Let's go to the next part of this now. Understanding pranayama. Now, you may ask, why should I do this? I said, we should do this. This pranayama helps you control your mind. Mind is the barrier for self-realization. Mind is chanchala. It has a dark, thick veil of covering which is built over millions of lifetimes where the mind has forgotten who am I. The problem starts because of this forgetful nature. And if you want to control this mind, start bringing it back to its original position to remember who am I, then you need to go through various cleansing processes, various purification processes. Sense control, under which pranayama comes, is one of that process. That is what Krishna is telling us. Now, pranayama, what we should understand as an essence, we're not going into the process, is there are 10 life airs, pranavayu. What are those? You can open the book, you can study prana, udana, vyana, samana, apana, then you have naga, kurma, krikara, devadatta, dhananjaya. These are all the 10 vayus in our human body. All of us have it. What does an Ashtanga yogi do? Our aim is, how do I control my mind? I'm going to control my mind through controlling my life airs, my pranavayu. Yogis offer prana karmani into yoga's fire for purification. This is what Krishna is giving us as possible activity as sacrifice. Why now? Then he ends the verse by saying, Atma samyamya yoga. Now, duvati pranadipite. When you are able to control your life airs, then you are going to get the benefit of jnana. Jnana dipite. Jnana is light by sense control and by self control. Breath control is self control. You're not really closing your eyes, you're not doing anything physically, you're only concentrating on your breath. All that you do, take in your breath, hold your breath, and release your breath. This is the process of pranayama. There are different types of pranayama, that is different. But if you are able to control your breath, regulate your breath, then you are achieving self-control. Uvati Anadipite. You are illuminated by knowledge which is coming from within. And the realization of person who does pranayama is the knowledge is not outward. The knowledge is within us. My consciousness is under my control, and that is possible by doing this exercise for regulating my 10 life airs, pranavayu. This completes 4.27 Now we're going to go to 4.28. Another four sacrifices will be described, or another couple of sacrifices will be described. Again, let's go through a story. Story brings out the essence of philosophy. So there lived four disciples, each as distinct, as different from the other. First one was Thanu, merchant. He was a rich guy, but he was following the process of charity. He says, I am not the owner of all this wealth, and I will use my wealth only to help this. This was his philosophy. Remember this Dhanu, rich man, believes in charity. There was another disciple. His name was Tapas. By the name Tapas, you can understand. He was into offering austerity as his activity of sacrifice to the world, to the Lord. Tapo Yajna. Yogesh, he was an Ashtanga yogi. He performed Ashtanga yoga to offer himself to the Lord. Again, what is the important thing is that all the three of them are doing one activity very, very sincerely. You don't have to do everything to please everyone. You don't have to be Bahu Ishwaravadi. You only can surrender to Krishna, he will take care of you. And the fourth person, fourth disciple, was a Vedic scholar. He spent his whole life reading Vedas, Upanishads, and he was always worshipping the Lord through his intelligence. So these four people did their activities sincerely. The question is, who gets the blessings of the Lord? Is it that Manu is doing pious activities, so he will get the blessings of the Lord? He will get Gnana Dipite? Or is it the Vidya Vedic scholar because he is into reading scriptures every day? Let's see what the verse says. The verse says, Dravya Yagnas Tapo Yagna Yoga Yagnas Tatapare Swadhyaya Gnana Yagnascha Yataya Samshita Vrataha. Krishna is defining charity, austerity, mysticism, scriptural study. He says all are sacrifice. Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by sacrificing their possessions. Remember Dhanu. And others by performing severe austerities. Remember Tapas. And by practicing the yoga of eightfold mysticism or by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. The question that all the four people whom we saw in the last example, who will get the mercy of the Lord? Who will get the mercy, blessings, benefit, transcendental knowledge? The answer Krishna is saying, all of you will come to me, provided you continue doing this as a matter of sacrifice always. So what is Dravya Yajna? I said sacrifices are of two kinds. One is offer your resources to the Lord or offer yourself to the Lord. What is Dravya Yajna? Very easy to understand. You are offering all the resources that you have in building facilities for the benefit or the utilization of people who cannot afford it. You will have old age homes, you will have charitable hospitals, girls' hostel, Annadana Seva, free school, and what have you. You can add thousands of items under this. All this is Dravya Yajna, and Krishna is saying, dear Arjuna, Dravya Yajna is an act of sacrifice. Apo Yajna, you are always into austerity. Prabhupada very nicely describes Chaturmas, which we all have to follow for 4 months in a year, where you restrict your food intake, you give up one item after the other each month. That is also an act of sacrifice for the pleasure of the Lord. So by offering austerity as an activity is a sacrifice. Ishtanga Yajna. Now, this is a very complex process. We'll not go into this process, but Krishna says this will also bring you to me because you're offering this activity as a sacrifice to me. You can do Ashtanga Yoga, you can do Hatha Yoga, you can do Chardham Yatra. You will come to me. Prana Yajna. Remember Vidya was always studying Vedas, Upanishads. Study of Vedas and Upanishads is Jnana Yajna. act of sacrifice, that is also for the pleasure of the Lord, and he will also get the benefit of the blessings of the Lord. So these four yagyas also can be used as a way of worshipping the Lord. What is the learning? With resolute vows, one can attain knowledge, sacrifices of wealth, charity, penance, austerity, yoga, Stanga yoga, Hatha yoga, study of scriptures, and wisdom. So, can it be more easier than this? He has given us so many options. We have to choose what is suitable for us. Let's go to the second last verse of the day. Another interesting verse. Pane chuati pranam प्राणे पानं तथा परे प्राणापाना गतिरुद्ध्वा प्राणायाम परायणः अपारे नियतारः प्राणान् प्राणेषु जुह्वति. So this is another six-line verse. We always see in Gita four-line verse, but Srila Prabhupada has made this into a six-line verse because there is similarity of thought. He wants to bring one thought in one verse. That's why we have six lines here. Going forward, you will find a verse which has only two lines. So some yogis seek self-realization through pranayama, disciplined breath control. So he's giving us more insights into pranayama. How do they do this? You see this first four lines is referring to prana, and the last two lines are also referring to prana. But the difference is the first four lines refer to prana as prana vayu, life air, and prana in the fourth and fifth and the sixth lines are referring to our life. Our life is also known as prana. Let's see what Krishna says in the translation. Still others who are inclined to the process of breath restraint to remain in trance practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping all breathing. Others, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. Very simple verse. If you are able to focus on your pranavayu, that also is a sacrifice. So pranayama is also a sacrifice activity of sacrifice for the Lord. What is the essence of learning here? If I'm giving you a brief overview. So there are three components of breathing. How many of us knew this? One is uraka, when I inhale. Rechaka, exhale. Kumbhaka, I hold my breath. So this is what you can do. And pranayama teaches us how to control, how to regulate breath. That is an act of sacrifice through pranayama. So the details here is that you offer your outgoing air into the incoming air. The incoming air into the outgoing air is apana, prana. So you are breathing deeply, holding the breath, exhaling, and you can do it in different types. That is details of pranayama. If you are able to do that, you are able to regulate your breath. And people who have mastered pranayama, I know of a very, very close friend of mine who is an expert in pranayama. He spends 6 hours performing pranayama every day. There are people who are more advanced, who can live without food, without water, just on air. So your body lives on thought. That is the power of breath control. Next, prana pani guti grutva. What is this process? Here is one is you offer the outgoing breath into the incoming breath, incoming into outgoing, or you stop breathing. That is prana pana gati grutva. Last two lines. Apare niyataharaha. You regulate your eating. Chaturmas, Ekadashi, Bhishma Ekadashi. All these are processes where you start fasting from feasting, reduce your intake. That is also sense control. Pranan pranesh juvati. pranayama parayanaha. You can attain trance through pranayama. People can live without food, without water for hours, days together. There are people who are in the mountains who are great pranayama experts who don't need anything to survive. You can see them in Chitrakoot, you can see them in Uttarkashi. If you have eagerness, curiosity, visit these places to see how people can live on nothing but just breathing. What is breath control? Breath is like restless wave. Remember the windy hall where the lamp used to flicker. That is the essence of our lives. The breath is a restless wave that can be regulated through pranayama, merging the incoming and the outgoing breaths. And if you're able to do it as a systematic process, you achieve trance, a still ocean of trance. Equanimity, chitta pragya can also be attained through breath control. What is the learning? Erratic breaths mirror a distracted mind. Through pranayama, regulate breathing to achieve trance-like equanimity. Solution for peace is not outside. The solution for peace is inside. It is your own breath which can make you infinitely blissful. The last verse of the day. Now, after having seen all the different types of sacrifices, Krishna is going to summarize and say, what is the purpose of sacrifice? It says, Sarve apiyate yagna vido, yagshapita kalmashaha, yagna sistam bhujo, yanti brahma sanatanam. Translation. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions. Why are we doing this activity as a sacrifice? Because we want chitta suddhi. We want to burn our ignorance in the fire of sacrifice. And having tasted the nectar of results of sacrifices, they advance towards the supreme eternal atmosphere. Sthita prajna, equanimity, shanti, trance, Brahma Sanatanam. Let's go to the so now this summary line is not right. It is telling you the purpose of yajna. Sarve apiyate yajna vido. After going through these 7 verses, we have this knowledge, we have this awareness as to how our activities is can be converted to an act of sacrifice. And we also know what is the meaning, what is the purpose. We want self realization. We want to achieve bliss by serving the Lord. How does this happen? When we go through this process, various sacrifices, you choose what is suitable for you. You end up controlling your senses. That is Chitta Shuddhi, gives you purification. Yagna Kshapita Kalmasha. Kalmasha is the contamination that we have that is getting cleansed. Yagnisistamrutabucho. What do you achieve? Nectar of transcendental knowledge. What is this nectar of transcendental knowledge? For us as devotees, it is devotional service. We can't do pranayama, we can't do Ashtanga yoga. To some extent, we can do dravya yagya, we can do some amount of tapo yagya, but we are also going to serve the Lord by following the path of devotional service. That will also give us the bliss of the Lord's mercy. What is the end result? Yanti Brahma Sanatanam. Eternal spiritual distillation can be ours by following this process of our activities in the mood of sacrifice. Learning for our day to day life. No words of yajna. Yajna is not something which is very difficult to understand. We understood it as our own day to day activities. We can perform this yajna daily to attain purification, satisfaction, and liberation. That is Brahma Sanatanam. Thank you very much. With that, now we have gone through a lot of matter. I want to leave one slide behind as takeaway. Remember, we are in Karma Yoga. We are in transcendental knowledge. What is the whole essence of discussion today is All our activities are the root of the tree, karma. But this karma can manifest itself as various branches of a big Vatavruksha tree. It could be tapo, dana, dravya, brahma, swadaya, pranayama, gnana, brahma yagya. Whatever may be the activity, whatever may be the name of that activity, if it is performed as a sacrifice, what is the fruit? Vimokshaya, liberation, purification. That's it. Remember this. Everything, all these different names, what is the root? Karma. What is karma? Our action. What is the difference we are doing from the before reading Gita, after reading Gita? We are offering our activity, call it by any name, as a sacrifice, as a yagya, as an offering to the Supreme Lord. That's it. With that, I take you to the quiz session. Prabhuji, shall I open the dais
Yes, Prabhu, it's
for
yours.
participation?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Perfect. Here we go. The first question. According to Gita 4.23, which is the verse that we covered in the last class, refers today, what is the key inner attitude of the person whose actions do not bind them? Read the question carefully. Answers. Renouncing all physical action and remaining completely inactive, like what Arjuna was saying. I want to stop fighting. Offering the results of action to multiple deities for worldly gains. Performing only prescribed rituals while carefully tracking merit. So, what am I getting? Acting without a sense of doership and without desire for the results. Think carefully. And Prabhuji, I need your help as to who has raised his hands.
I think Ramesh has raised, is the only person who has
Ramesh.
raised.
Go ahead, Ramesh. I see Satyadev also. Satyadev, you'll have to wait for the next question. Go ahead, Ramesh.
D, 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 D.
Sure.
Yes,
Or you want to
D.
think? D for Delhi. Or B. B
Correct.
for Bombay.
No,
D for
Delhi.
Delhi. Okay, let's
Yes.
see what's the right answer. Correct answer is close your eyes. D. Well done, Ravisha. Excellent. There we go. Next question. Now, this is from today's section. Whatever we have read through, discussed. The first question is on 4.24. What does Krishna say is Brahman? We have seen that beautiful verse. What is Brahman? Is it the act of offering? Is it the oblation, ghee, grains, or the ladle? All of the above. None of the above. I see. Krishna Mohan Prabhu. Prabhuji, I think he's the only person.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Over to you, Krishna Mohan Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhanapana.
Hare
Prabhuji, the
Krishna.
act of offering. Hare Prabhuji, the act of offering.
Acha. That is A.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sure?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, let us see. This is that interesting moment, whether the answer is right or not right. Correct answer is C. I'm sorry, you missed it. I wanted to confuse you by giving you all of the above and none of the above.
All of them. Yes, Prabhuji.
Anyway, participation is more important. Results don't matter. Let's go to the next question. In verse 4.25, what do some yogis sacrifice by offering them into the fire the controlled mind? It's talking about mind control. Money, dravya, senses, breath, practice pranayama, D, by regulating food intake. Krishna Mohan Prabhu, you have an opportunity to make up for what you missed in the last question. Over to you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
The
Krishna.
B, the senses.
Sure.
Yes, Prabhuji.
रख किया जाए. Sure.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. The senses.
Okay. The correct answer is B, the senses. Well done. 3 cheers. You've made up for what you lost in the last class. Excellent. Let's go to the next question. Wonderful. Which, now I remember Saptadeep had raised his hand. Saptadeep, I egg you on. You have 2 more questions to go. Which of the following verses, sorry, 4.28 to 4.29 is not mentioned as a form of yagna? To again explain the question, in these 2 verses, which is the form of yagna is not mentioned, which is an activity which is not a sacrifice. The answer is sacrifice for gaining heavenly pleasures, sacrificing through charity, sacrifice of prana into apana and apana into prana, pranayama, sacrifice through austerity, tapas. There you go, Saptadev. Prabhuji, I will give it to Saptadev because he was a few seconds ahead of you. Go ahead, Saptadev.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvatanam to all your devotees. Is option A sacrifice for gaining heavenly pleasures?
Sure.
Yes, Prabhuji. A.
Okay, let's see what's the right answer. That's perfect. Bang on. So you made up for your patience. You walk away with 50 marks. Well done. Last question of the day. Now, this is open for all. Give your best. According to verse 4.3, what happens to those who perform sacrifices with regulated discipline? They are reborn in higher worlds. Their sins are destroyed and they attain liberation. They gain material prosperity. Their sins can be destroyed, but they may not attain liberation. I see Krishna Mohan Prabhu and Saptadev Prabhu. So Krishna Mohan Prabhu is really informed today. Now, Prabhuji, between the 2, who was first? Any
I
idea?
think Krishna Mohan Prabhu was just fraction of a second ahead.
Okay. So Saptadev, if you
But
allow
he has
us,
now
we'll give it to
lowered his hand, I
Krishna Mohan
think.
Prabhu.
Has he lowered his hand now?
Acha. Prabhuji, you want to take it or not?
He's raised
Yes,
again.
Prabhuji, I want to take it. By mistake.
Oh,
It's,
go ahead, Prabhuji.
yes, Prabhuji, it's B.
You have a chance to end the day with a bang.
Yes, Prabhuji, it's B.
What is it?
B, B.
B for Bombay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sure.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Let's see what's the right answer. Here we go. The correct answer is B. Yes, you have really cracked it today. You walk away with a century today. Well done, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a wonderful participation. Now, I am conscious that we are over time, but if someone has to summarize what their thoughts are after the session, 1 or 2 inputs, welcome. Any volunteers? Looks like all of you are in deep thought.
They are all in a sacrificial mode.
Hare Krishna
Yes.
Prabhuji. I was saying I will just post in the group, give some thought and write down.
Please feel free.
Yeah, I think it was quite heavy. So maybe people are still digesting the topic.
Yes. Or if you want me to twist this, I will call someone and you don't have to really prepare yourself. This is Ashu Bhashana. Whatever comes to your mind, you can speak. Can we try that? Okay. I want to have some word bites, sound bites from Ramesha. Ramesha, what is that which comes to your mind? Top of the mind. 3, 4, 5 words.
Shama, otherwise I'd have raised my hand. It is a very heavy subject. Still, because you have given me a chance, I'll have to tell you something so that I will not embarrass you. Okay.
Don't feel there's nothing like a right
You
answer
know,
or a wrong answer.
it's too heavy a subject. So ultimately, when liberation can be attained by 4 ways, including pranayama and
Okay.
surrendering, total surrender, and
Right.
being a doer without without any attachment, the fruits of the work. I have really forgotten the fourth one.
Don't worry. See, even one learning takeaway is perfectly fine. So you have given 3. Well done. Thank you. Probably you want us to do one more or we stop it? I saw Saptadeep raise his hand or I am mistaken. Yes,
Hare Krishna
Saptadeep.
Prabhuji. Actually, it was by mistake it got touched. Oh, anyways, I will just share one reflection. That is, whatever we do means it should be for Krishna, and all our activities to dovetail to Krishna only. In that sense, whatever activity we do should be in a Krishna consciousness. That is also sacrifice. Means our eyes, ears, nose, as you have given all the 5 senses. So we can use it for darshan and for taking prasadam, for smell, we offer to Krishna the incenses, for touch, the flower offered. So everything should be like that. So in that way, means we are putting everything for Krishna's service. So dovetailing it for everything. So that is also means sacrifice, means completely sacrificing ourselves in that way. So regulating everything, all the senses. So just in short summarizing, yeah. That's it.
Perfect.
There is one single point I
Thank
want
you.
to
Thank you.
perfectly just put it. Yeah. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Saptadeep. I see Krishna Mohan Prabhu has raised his hand, Prabhuji. Shall we take it? Yes, Prabhuji.
यस प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु
बोलिए।
जी। बस मेरे को
हरे कृष्णा।
एक ही पॉइंट बस प्रभु जी शेयर करूंगा। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
बिल्कुल।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, मैं यस प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी, एक पॉइंट है जो मुझे मतलब जो इसके आज के लर्निंग में मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, जो एक्सटर्नल सेक्रीफाइस है। इंटरनल सेक्रीफाइस इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन द एक्सटर्नल सेक्रीफाइस। यस प्रभु जी, दिस इज वेरी, हमें अपने भगवान का अपना जो मन है वो भगवान को ऑफर करना है। एक्सटर्नल सेक्रीफाइस इज इंपॉर्टेंट, बट मोर इंपॉर्टेंट इज इंटरनल सेक्रीफाइस। यस प्रभु जी, थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी। हरे
Perfect.
कृष्ण, धन्यवाद।
Perfect. Perfect, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Very well said. Thank you very much.
No, no one
So with
mentioned
that,
about no one mentioned about sacrificing one's ego, which you highlighted as one of the
yes,
most important aspect of sacrifice. So probably Krishna Mohan Prabhu came closest to that when he says internal. He must be referring to the ego. Very nice.
correct, correct.
Okay, so we can end the session today. Thank you all for participating,
Perfect.
and we look forward to the next session. This is session number 29 the next week. Thank you all. I'm ending the session now. If anybody still wants to put any
Thank you.
reflections, you can put it in the group after some time. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
yes. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम प्रभु
Hare
जी,
Krishna.
धन्यवाद, प्रणाम।